Moving on to this weekend, we travel to Manchester, to the Etihad, to take on City in what is traditionally one of the tougher fixtures of the season. But with the way City are this season, it doesn't hold the same sort of element of fear. We'll have no Joe. He's had surgery on his hamstring. Aaron has confirmed that today. And it may well be that Joe, or I think he confirmed it yesterday actually, it may well be that Joe's done for the season, but they're hopeful he might be back just before the end. We'll have no Conor Bradley, who picked up another injury against Villa. Now, Carol, they've said he's going to miss at least 2 games. I'd imagine it's going to be more than that. If he misses just 2, then since the start of last season, he'll have missed 42 games while playing in 45. That's quite concerning to me. And I know people say, well, a lot of them were one injury. Yeah, but it's a back injury. And I never like to hear of elite athletes having back injuries. He also had an ankle injury, and I don't like that either. And now he's having muscle injuries, and I don't like that either. It's a concern with Bradley that he is injury prone, and that, you know, any talk of, well, if Trent goes, we have Conor Bradley. The kid can't stay fit. This is him getting injured this often while not playing every single week. Can his body handle the stress of playing more regularly? It's a concern for me. Cody Gakpo, they're hopeful he's going to be okay. He hasn't trained with the team yet, but Arna said yesterday that they were hoping he would train yesterday and then today, and then take part in the session that will be on Saturday. So hopefully Cody's good to go, because we have missed him. For City, obviously no Rodri, no Akanji. Oscar Bob not quite back yet. John Stones is a significant doubt. And then there's Erling Haaland. And he didn't play against Real. And some people were like, oh, he's being rested for the weekend. But I saw a couple of well-connected City people say he's not fit. He's carrying a knock. He was on the bench so that if they could get it to extra time, he could come on for the last 15 minutes or so and then be part of a penalty shootout. But otherwise, he wasn't going to play. And then obviously he didn't play. He's got a problem with his knee. And Pep said, Erling trained, I believe the images we have done are fine, but he has discomfort walking, for example, on a stairs. We spoke yesterday and he said he didn't feel good, didn't feel ready. Now, that was for the Real game. But if he's got a knee issue, I don't know that they risk him against us either.
I mean, if he's not fit, he's not fit. I mean, maybe it's a case they keep him back and have him to play. But I mean, what else are they playing for this season? Like, all they have now really to go for, apart from the FA Cup, which is just see how that goes game by game. It's obviously they've got to try and secure themselves, top 4, top 3 probably. They'd probably be looking at this point. But I don't think that they would risk him, therefore. But I also don't think that they're holding him back for something else.
No, I don't think so. I don't think they're holding him back. I certainly don't think they'd have held him back from a Champions League game for a league game in which they're not winning the title. And the Premier League is likely getting 5 spots in the Champions League for next season. So, you know, you'd imagine they'll be fairly confident that they'll get 1 of 5. So if he didn't play in the week, I think there's a chance, not how big a chance, but a chance he doesn't play at the weekend. Which obviously, look, he doesn't have a great track record against us when Virgil's on his game, but he's still a very dangerous player, and he's still someone you'd rather not play against. What do you make of City right now, though? Like, they had their little bit of a comeback in the league. They started to put some results together. And then they went and they got absolutely trucked by Arsenal in quite embarrassing fashion. That came shortly after getting demolished by PSG, where they were 2-0 up and then got just waterboarded for half an hour and ended up losing 4-2. Then they bounce back. They get a good win over Newcastle. They'd obviously lost to Real in the first leg, but it was a bit of an odd game. They beat Newcastle 4-0. It's a really impressive showing from them. And then they go to Madrid in the week, and they just looked miles off the level. Like, Real never really seemed to even get out of second gear. And City couldn't live with them at all.
Yeah, I mean, I saw quite a few similarities in what Arsenal did to Man City to what Man City did to Newcastle, to be honest, in terms of like once you get a go-ahead goal or an important goal, a key swing moment in the match, and then they just went for it. Then they just went on and on and on. And Arsenal, like you said, absolutely just didn't let up. Like that spell after Haaland scored, to be honest, when Arsenal retook the lead immediately, and then they just kept going at them. That was very, very good. It was what Man City would have done to a lot of teams 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and 4 years ago, and all the rest of it. It was just relentless. Don't let them get out of their half. Don't let them raise their heads. Don't let them get back into the game, and just kept going at them. Like the last goal was just fine. That came after a sort of deep into injury time, subs had been made, all that kind of stuff, and it was a collapse. But the style or the way that it went about was quite remarkable, to be fair. But then I did think that Man City did that to Newcastle. Now, Newcastle were absolutely horrible defensively in that game.
Even trip here.
I mean, the very first goal was, Cowboy doesn't even come into it. He was garbage, and very, very unsurprisingly, one of the first ones subbed. I think it was 2 of them went off at half-time. Trippier being one of them, but like not just Trippier, all of them. They were so open, so obvious. And Newcastle are normally pretty well drilled and like work really hard for each other, but everyone was like doing their own thing. It was a very odd defensive display by Newcastle, which I fervently hope is replicated in the cup final when we play against them. But the point is that Man City found the ways to exploit that by keeping going at them, keeping them pinned back really, really far. They kept making the same passes and runs inside the sort of gap between the fullback and centre-back. Marmoush obviously was having himself a field day with all the space that he was afforded. So 2 or 3 things that you take. One, don't let him run riot in that manner. Nobody got close to him. Nobody put in the challenge. There was nobody tracking his runs into that sort of between the penalty box and the edge of the penalty spot and the edge of the penalty box, that sort of area. Nobody went with him at all. We have big problems with that from times.
Yeah,
definitely something for the likes of Gravenberch to worry about, let's say. But if Haaland doesn't start, Marmoush probably starts as the number 9. So slightly different area, slightly different.
And he's less effective as the 9.
Yes. Although
he doesn't have the same level. Because when he was at Eintracht and when he's played for City, it's having that focal point 9 to occupy at least one centre-back that gives him a lot of space, and he's able to start his runs a little bit deeper and things like that and find those bits of space. If he's up against the centre-backs, he just doesn't get the same type of space because his movement is restricted playing as a 9.
Yeah, I agree. I do think he's like quite good at facilitating space for other people to run into. The problem for Man City is that at the minute only really Foden looks capable of making those runs. He's sort of come back into form and favour, I suppose. Savinho's, again, like
he's brilliant against Newcastle.
He's a really impactful player and he's really, really good. I just don't know if either like with Haaland not being completely fit or in form recently, those two don't seem to have quite clicked, but it seems like they should, if you know what I mean. Like Savinho's balls into the box, his ability to draw people to him because he's such a good dribbler, all of that should really, really favour Haaland. But I don't think there's been loads of great link-up play between the two of them so far.
No, I agree. I think when Savinho plays left wing, it works better with Haaland because he's a good crosser of the ball and he does whip the ball in early, and he's gotten a couple of assists that way. But Savinho prefers to play, and I think overall plays better on the right. And because he doesn't cross the ball as well on his right footer, he has to cut back. Him and Haaland just haven't found any kind of timing or connection yet for when he's on the right. But on the left, gets the ball in a bit earlier, and Haaland can make that first time run. And he's so much bigger than everybody else. He tends to get in the end of stuff. He was really good against Newcastle rather. Gave Lewis Hall a torrid time and kind of concerned me about what he could do to Andy Robertson. How funny was it, though, that City opened the scoring against Newcastle with a very simple ball over the top that Marmoush runs onto and just lobs the keeper, with dreadful defending by Kieran Trippier. And then a couple of days later, they go to Madrid. There's a simple ball over the top. It's very poor defending from Diaz, and Mbappe just lobs the keeper. It's basically a carbon copy of the goal that they scored.
Yeah, remarkable dedication to replicating what came before them. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know. I've never been a massive Diaz fan. I know he's had like good seasons or good spells or whatever, but I just don't see him as dominant enough, regularly enough, to be honest.
No, he's not elite. He's a little bit too slow to be a truly elite defender as well. Like he doesn't deal well in space. He's very good at the nuts and bolts of it. Like, he heads it well. He throws his body on the line. He gets on the floor far too often, though. Like, we've seen, there was a compilation doing the rounds on Twitter about 2 years ago, and it was like 3 minutes of Ruben Diaz just randomly being on the floor for reasons that made no sense, because going to ground was not the optimal thing to do in the situation that he found himself in. But he probably still is the best of the bunch in terms of a central defender. I think Aki's a better defender, but I think he's better at left back than he is at centre back. The problem there is they have Josko Gvardiol, who they paid a huge amount of money for, and is very good.
Right, the Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way. With the Great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts for free, head over to AnfieldIndex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that, from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.